All right, this is the Grizz-Cast number 10. Just hanging out. Got some good news. I got a new job at coaching at Jackson's MMA. I'm the head MMA coach there now. I'm super excited for that. Just ready to take that team to the next level, as well as coaching my team Shingatai still. Because I'll never leave that. So I got 2 gyms that I'm head coaching MMA. I love it. That puts me at like 5 jobs total now, but I enjoy it. I enjoy grinding and working hard, especially right now. It's really hard for me to grind physically because of my knee. So everything is like a mental grind, and I'm trying to make myself better mentally, trying to make myself stronger mentally. That way, when I get back, it's real easy. And it's just easy work to get back into fight shape. And this is pretty awesome that I have 2 head coaching jobs to where I can still train and have that full-time fight career if I needed it to. So, but right now I'm excited. Hopefully I'll get a fight here on the books soon and, push towards that too. Speaking of fights, my boy Robert Trujillo won his pro debut out in Las Vegas for FFC. Complete domination, really. Went in, fought, started throwing the hands, caught him over the top. I think the guy caught him with a hook. Nothing much there. And then Robert moved in, went for the takedown. The guy fell over. Robert controlled on the ground, listened to everything he was supposed to listen to, did the right stuff, held position. They stood him back up. There wasn't enough action for the referee, so they stood him back up. And when they stood him back up, it was really just the beginning of the end for that guy. Robert threw some punches, landed a clean overhand that really just shook the dude. He just crumbled, and Robert was easy to take his back. The guy fell to the floor. Robert ended up in mount, and then just hammered away. I'm super proud of the guy. He does this for his family, and he went out and showed why he belongs in the pro ranks. So hopefully FFC wants to give him a contract. Unlucky for Robert, Sean Shelby was in the crowd, but after his fight, a few fights later is when he came. But this just shows what big promotion this is and how great it is to fight in a mecca like Vegas, So I know for a fact that he'll be back for FFC, and I'm just excited to see what happens and what the future holds for all the teams now, for my team Shingatai and team Jackson's, and we'll see, and we'll go from there. And then me, I'm just excited to get back in it. Hopefully August. That's what I really want to come back to. But that being said, I've been just pushing myself mentally, like I said, and really just trying to be the best version of myself. I didn't get down or depressed this time with my injury, as to where in the past I've been down and depressed and fucked off and stuff. Now my problem is I've been eating bad, but that's because I'll give myself an excuse, but mostly I was busy doing other things and training, working, doing all that stuff, that I just didn't focus on my diet. But I can feel I feel my body breaking down. I feel my joints a lot more sore than normal. My neck hurts a little bit more than normal. And so I went back to it. I went back to dieting. I'm back to fasting 14 to 16 hours a day. And really when I do that, it just makes my whole body feel so much better. So, I'm excited to get back to that because these little nagging injuries and these little nagging pains that I have are stupid. So, and they can all be avoided by eating the right way and doing the right things. So, yeah, there's been a lot going on, and I'm just excited to keep pushing forward. I love to make fighters, and I love to make men. A lot of people have these mental blocks and these fucking things that hold them back, and I love to dissect that and move forward. I want to push people to be their very best, and I want them to get their minds right, their diets right, their physical abilities right, and I want to make that all combine into one night of the fight night And also just in life, I want you guys to have that mental strength every day of your life, because that's the biggest thing we need. It's not the physical strength. It's not that. It's the mental strength that we need to get through every obstacle in life, because we all know dumb shit happens, and we all know that we need to be able to surpass that and move past that in life instead of letting it defeat us. Like I said, this time with my knee injury, in the past I've given up on it and just like laid in bed and been depressed, and I didn't do that this time. Not to lie, I did like 3 days, right? And normally I do it for like a month. So I know that I've pushed past that limit of like, I'm not the same person. I don't want to do the same things. I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to miss out. Hell, there was a sickness going around in my house, and I didn't want to get it because I didn't want to miss work. And that's never been me. I'm like, hey, I'll get sick. Let me get sick so I can take a couple days off. But I don't want to miss work. I don't want to miss putting my body and my mind on the line every day. Because I'd be a hypocrite if I were to sit here and tell you guys to do all this stuff and then not do it myself. So my focus is on doing it myself and pushing myself and showing everybody that this is what can happen when your mind is strong, your body's ready to go, your diet's on point, and everything works together. And that's not just that, it's also in life. And I feel like a lot of things have been falling in place in my life. I get to marry the love of my life. I get to have 2 MMA coaching jobs, which is what I love to do as coach. Making a little bit more money. I had a documentary filmed about me. Had my amateur fighter turn pro and win his pro debut. I have fights lined up, like that I'm ready to go when the time comes. So, it all falls into place how it's supposed to. And that's the big thing, is by just changing my mindset and just pushing myself there to my mental limits, and then surpassing those limits, and then pushing myself to that wall again, and then breaking through that wall, and then to that wall, and breaking through that wall, and that wall, breaking through that wall. It's made me stronger mentally, and it's made things easier, and it made things fall into place more. And I'm super excited. I'm excited to share that with everybody, that like the best thing you can do is get your mind right. People, you're gonna fail at it. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. But that's the name of the game. You gotta fail, and then you gotta push forward. That's all it is in life. We're gonna get knocked down. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose battles in our own lives. But are you just gonna quit and let that take over, or are you gonna get back up, be a man, move forward, march it down, and fucking, meet it head on? Because that's what pushes you mentally. That's what makes you a better person. That's what makes you somebody that people can look up to. So yeah, we got to keep pushing that mental, and that's something I will always do, is push that mental. And then like when you get to situations that you've earned, you got to soak in that moment. Prime example is Robert was an amateur for a long time and made himself a name that way. And then, so his record was so good that he was able to sign to a big show, his first pro fight, FFC, in Vegas. And I don't know if the moment was lost on him or if it hasn't sunk in yet, but you got to soak that in. Not many people, I've never fought in Vegas, and I've had over 20 pro fights, like over 30 fights altogether and over 20 pro fights. So you got to soak in those moments, Like I said, I never got to fight in Vegas, and he has. He's got to soak in that moment and embrace that moment and let it fuel him. You got to see that kind of stuff. Like, you got to take your little victories too. Fighting in Vegas is a little victory. For me, like fighting overseas in big promotions, that's beautiful to me. That like, and I used to never do that, so I had to tell myself to soak in those moments. And now my whole thing with these fighters is soak in those moments, soak in those little victories. And that's not just in fighting, in life, soak in those little victories. I get to go to Florida with my family, right? Because we earned that trip, and that's a little victory. And when I'm there, I'm going to soak it up, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to let it push me forward. I'm going to let it make me work harder when I get back, because I like that kind of lifestyle. I like being able to travel. I like being able to take my family places. I like being able to do stuff that most people don't get to do. And that's something that is a little victory to me that propels me forward. And that's what it is, man. Like, you have to take those little victories, because if you don't take those little victories, it's always going to feel like you're getting defeated. It's always going to feel like you're losing. So then it's hard to strengthen your mind. But if you take these little victories, put them in your head and go, all right, this is beautiful. This is the victory I want. I want to remember this. I want this to push me forward. You can't live in it. Like, you can't be like, oh, this little victory, and now that's it. Like, I don't have to do anything anymore because I had that little victory. No, it's just one little victory to push you forward, to go harder in your life, and to make better choices and make the sacrifices necessary to get more little victories. At the end of the day, life is about little victories. It's about those little moments that you get that you can just push forward and be the best you that you can be. So if you just think everything's negative, then you're never going to be that best version of yourself. So push yourself. Take those little things, soak it in, enjoy it, enjoy the moment, and then move on from it. I learned this thing from a Muay Thai coach, Robert Simmons, back in the day. At the end of each practice, we do a negative and a positive. You start with a negative. Let's get it out of the way, right? Because it's not that big of a deal. So we say it and move on from it. And then we give it a positive, because the positive is that little victory that will make our next practice that much better, because we know what we did right. We know what we did wrong. We let it go. And then we know what we did right. And we use that little victory to push us forward and to become the best version of ourselves as possible. So just take that with you, right? Strengthen your mind. By strengthening your mind, it can't all just be hell. It can't just be like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to keep pushing myself and it sucks, but I'm going to do it. No, you got to take those little victories, otherwise you get demotivated and you just sit there and go, well, what the fuck else am I going to do? I suck, right? So take the little victories, but also don't live in those little victories, because you start living in those little victories, and then it goes back to the normal way of doing shit and not having any breakthroughs in your life. So take those little victories, but move forward with them, right? Don't sit there and keep them and be like, oh, yeah, I remember that one time that I got to do this. That was great, and that's it. That's all I needed. I'm done, because that's not how life works. So take it, say, hey, I like being able to fight in Vegas. I like being able to go to Florida with my family. I like whatever it is. Take it and say, the reason I got that is because I worked so hard to get there. Now I need to get back and work so hard to get to the next level, right? Level up in life, and that's all it is, Yeah, just like with this, I'm going to, take my little victories. There's always a lot of negative with putting stuff on the internet, but I'll take the little victories, I'll take the positive notes, and then I'll move forward and drive off of that, and succeed off of that. So, that being said, that's it for this Grizz-Cast, and I will see you next time.